Greetings, parents and students. So, this is going to be a little bit of a different kind of video, considering it's not instructional per se. Instead, I thought it would be fun for us to have a challenge together. During the limited free time that many of us have, I suggest, or rather I propose, that we learn a second or perhaps third language, foreign language, together. Currently, I am studying Korean, which is something I should have learned considering I lived there for almost 2 years and I have yet to be able to hold a decent conversation with a native Korean speaker. So I've challenged myself this month to be able to learn enough Korean and learn how to read it as well, to be able to share a decent conversation with a neighbor who happens to be fluent in Korean. That said, many of you are already in the process of acquiring a second language. It may not require that you sit down and you read a textbook. Instead, the stories I'm hearing relate to how many of you are learning a new language organically through conversations perhaps your parents or your family or your friends are having. And so observing or listening to those conversations through the context of what's being said and what's being done, you are absorbing new learning because you are acquiring new vocabulary, whether you know it or not, just by observing someone use the language you're not familiar with and to see what happens as a result. It's actually how we're learning English as well, whether it's through a book, whether it's through different mediums like Netflix or other things that we consume when we watch. Our day-to-day, when you hear someone use a new word or a word you're not familiar with and you see how it's applied, even though you're not sitting in front of a dictionary, you're learning what that word means through context. And this is often how many of us acquire a language natively. So anywho, I propose, just to reiterate, that during your free time or during your reading time, you decide to use a resource like Duolingo, which is something we've used often in our own physical classroom when studying Spanish. And as a further challenge, I'd like for us to meet again when school resumes for third grade, at least for us, to be able to hold a conversation in that foreign language you've challenged yourself to study and learn. All right, I'll leave it at that. I'm gonna go ahead and finish up my hour of study because for me personally, I do about an hour and a half of study a day, and I encourage you to do the same or whatever works best for you if you want to break it up. But for me, this is how I'm gonna challenge myself to learn. An hour a day. Hopefully, when we meet, I can impress you or disappoint you completely. Either way, I look forward to hearing and seeing how much you guys learn and how much you guys can actually push yourself, because this is really exciting. I think it's going to be great. All right, guys, we're in future polyglots. I will see you later. Bye.